This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Friday, September 5th, 2025, and here are today's stories. What happens when big money investments collide with local traditions? In Cameroon, entire communities are losing their ancestral lands. Our field messenger, Mohammed, shows us the fight to hold on. And if you think your car warranty keeps you safe, think again. Could simply choosing an independent garage put it at risk? We'll break down what dealerships don't want you to know. Plus, a small Italian town turned the refugee crisis into a story of hope, where a bold mayor gave newcomers not just shelter, but a future. Governments banning rap music? It's happening worldwide, and not for the reasons they tell you. We'll uncover why this unapologetic art form sparks so much fear. Need an escape? The Martinez Center in Denmark blends seaside calm with deep conversation and discovery. Field Messenger Ag shows us why travelers say it's one of a kind. And in Australia, universities are in crisis. Massive cuts, lost jobs, and uncertain futures. We'll explore what it means for students and teachers alike.
Chinese investments in a village near Douala, Cameroon, are causing problems due to land grabs and corruption. Local communities are losing their ancestral lands to these deals. UNN Field Messenger Mohamed Nougoubon reports on their impact.
My name is Mohamed Nougoubon, Field Messenger for United Network News in Cameroon, Africa. And today, I'd like to talk about Chinese investments inside the climate of corruption. This is in a small village called Misolewan and Kendek in Cameroon, Africa. Here, we've got an aluminum factory which has grown into a steel mill. It's called Falukam, and it is still in Misolewan. You can see the factory over there, stretching all the way about, say, 1 kilometer. And on the other side of the road, you've got a newly created petrol station, as usual. There are more than 5 of them in this small village. This one was newly constructed about a year ago, and you can see lorries are all parked there. Gas Afrique. I think these lorries are going to Chad with their load of gas from Douala. This is another one which is built about 100 or 200 meters long for making plastic shoes. The big heaps you see there are actually waste plastic from some other branch of the factory in another part of town. And there are so many, more than 5 or 6 like this all over the village. The certificate of ownership is a very recently updated document which people use in order to ascertain that the person actually still owns the land. The official price, official stamp in the government office which handles land tenure is 3,000 francs, which is about $6. But if we pay only the official amount, then you might as well get your land and a certificate of ownership in about 10 years' time. So people accept the tax which they've imposed, and they pay $60 in order to have the certificate of ownership. And one parliamentarian did an investigation and realized in the city of Douala alone, 2,000 land tenure documents, certificate of ownership, are signed every day. Although the Chinese invest, you have many local people who benefit from their investment. For example, in this collection of houses, you have more than 66 people who are living. And many people who are not Chinese sometimes go to take advantage of this situation in order to do something which is in violation of the rights of the population. For example, in this particular case, one lady went to Yaoundé got a letter from the minister giving her the rent of these premises where more than 66 people are living, all working for Chinese people. Armed police or a military type of police here, which is called gendarmerie, will come at gunpoint and force these people to stand aside while bulldozers bring down their livelihood. Meanwhile, the Chinese are landfilling the land, in this particular case to build a factory to produce baby care. Let us hope that justice prevails. Real justice, not just the manipulation of the law. Corruption is the order of the day in Cameroon. Thank you very much.
When you buy a car, the dealership often emphasizes the importance of the warranty that comes with it, a safety net for unexpected issues. But what about getting your car serviced at an independent garage? Some dealerships warn it could void your warranty, which really makes you wonder if that's fair or just a way to keep you tied to them for all your maintenance needs. This isn't just a small issue. In Ireland, for example, the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, or CCPC, recently called out the motor industry for limiting consumer choice. Some drivers say they've been warned their warranty would be void if they used independent garages or non-original parts, which isn't always true. The CCPC reminded the industry that consumers are free to choose where to service or repair their cars, as long as parts match original quality. Restricting access to diagnostic tools or data for independent garages could also breach competition law. Companies found guilty could face heavy fines of up to 10 million euros or more for breaking the rules. In the United States, thanks to the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act from the 1970s, you don't have to use a manufacturer's parts or services to keep your car warranty valid, according to Consumer Reports. You can go to a shop like Jiffy Lube, an independent mechanic, or even a different dealership. But be careful, damage caused by a bad repair or mistake isn't covered. For example, if you change the oil yourself and forget the filter, ruin the engine, that's on you.
Now, there's a myth that a lot of people don't know about, which is that legally speaking, okay, as long as you get the service that's listed in the book, so let's call it oil change, right? Your book says you have to have an oil change every 10,000 kilometers. That's your BMW booklet right there. You got it with the car, and it says every 10,000 K, do the oil change, right? Okay, as long as you got that done by some certified shop, that means they're a licensed automotive repair shop, and you kept track of the mileage and the date that they did it and the parts that they used are the right parts, the right oil and the right filter, any shop can take care of your car, and the warranty is still active. You don't have to go back to maintain your warranty. Legally speaking, both in Canada and in the United States, and I believe even in Europe, because that would allow the dealerships to create too much of a monopoly. Legally, you can't do that. You can't stop other companies from doing that. So that being said, you can get your car serviced anywhere. Now, here's the good news. A lot of items on your car service are generic items that are fairly similar right across any brand of car, whether it's Ford, Honda, Acura, BMW, doesn't matter. And most shops and technicians in those shops are trained and capable of doing that. There are some things on cars that need a specific tool. And then you can find out, does your shop have that tool or not?
Car repairs can be surprisingly pricey, and anyone who's had a sudden transmission issue or a faulty air conditioning system knows how quickly the costs can add up. That's where the idea of an extended warranty comes into play. It's like a safety net for your wallet. But is it worth it? Extended car warranties are pricey, but super profitable for the dealerships and third-party providers. Consumer Reports shows most people pay more for them than they get back in benefits. Instead of buying one, experts suggest setting up a car repair savings fund. You might never need it, and the leftover cash can go toward your next car. That said, an extended warranty can make sense if your car brand isn't reliable or if your model is prone to costly issues, like transmission problems. Do some research on your car's common issues to decide if the extra coverage is worth it.
Our extended warranty company is worth it. Boy, oh boy. So here's how I put it, right? Extended warranty companies don't have your best interests in mind, period, and a story. We've been dealing with a lot of problems with extended warranty companies lately as far as coverages go, because what they do, let's say I'm calling in and I need to get your CV axle covered. Well, depending on your contract, you might be restricted to like used parts or the pricing for a used part, and that's all they're willing to pay. Or let's say they find, an axle on Amazon for $50. They're expecting us to use that axle and still provide a warranty. And then they also want to cap coverages as far as labor time. And so the fight, the hassle behind extended warranty companies, it's great when they work, but it's really hard to actually get your money at it.
At the end of the day, it's all about weighing your options and doing what works best for you. Whether you stick with the dealership, try out an independent garage, or consider an extended warranty, make sure you know your rights and do a little research first. After all, saving money and avoiding headaches is the ultimate goal, right?
A small town in southern Italy offered refugees a fresh start thanks to a mayor who provided homes, jobs, and hope. UNN field messenger Irene shares this inspiring story.
This is Irene from UNN. I would like to show you Riace, which is a little village in southern Italy. I want to present you the situation in this little town of South Italy that since years is an outstanding example for a human and loving approach towards the desperate refugees being shipped by traffickers over the Mediterranean Sea. The mayor, Domenico Lucano, everybody calls him Mimmo, of this village is a hero of our time, who had the courage to give the refugees a chance right here at the coast where they land. He managed to revitalize the town by organizing money, work, and empty houses for these people that come here full of hope for a new perspective. In 2018, Domenico Lucano got impeached for his human and non-bureaucratic way of handling immigration. The points of accusation were very ridiculous, and they wanted to see him in prison for 13 years. Fortunately, Domenico Lucano by that time had already run his way for quite a long time and was a celebrity for many human rights organizations. For that reason, his case got very public, and Lucano had a lot of support. The people call him in a very loving way Mimmo and always voted again and again for him. This is Daniel, and he lives at Riace for how much time?
I live in Riace for about 17 years.
17 years already, right. And you came here from where?
Yeah, I'm from Ghana.
You're from Ghana originally.
I was living in Riace. I was 2008 till now with my family, my wife, my kids. The government now is against the government in Italy now. They are not much supporting the immigration, so it's a little bit difficult, but he's still trying.
There's a lot of help from outside. I know that they
People say because they have many people here that he give them shelter.
During his absence, a very right-winged mayor tried to destroy the open doors of Riace. Now Lucano is back in office and tries to go on with his humanitarian policy. But Riace struggles because the authorities cancelled the finances for such a loving, open way to give refugees a new chance. In the meantime, many private charities are donating funds for restoring the town. I find this man is a wonderful example for, if it's to be, it's up to us. This was Irene reporting from Riace, a very special town in South Italy.
Tired before the day begins? NAD plus levels drop 50% after 40. NAD plus helps your cells bounce back fast. Most supplements give precursors. NAD plus skips the breakdown, delivering direct, bioavailable power. Support your energy, metabolism, sleep, and stress levels at the cellular level. Join the NAD plus revolution. Start your journey to a healthier you. Subscribe today.
Hi everyone, this is Leanne.
And I'm Jerry.
Coming to you from Tamworth, New South Wales.
Hi there, this is Rick from Arizona.
My name is Uchechukwu Oweneba from Igbo tribe, Nigeria.
Hi, this is Scott from Utah.
I'm Annette from Agassiz, British Columbia.
Hi, I'm Marcus Surzet from Manipur State, India.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. That's what United Network News is all about.
Can you clap?
We had a huge flood, which some call the flood of the century.
No fake news here. Our field messengers share personal experiences of what's really happening in their community.
We got some nice fish right here.
At UNN, you are the news.
My family and I had a very good time.
Take the next step. Become a UNN field messenger and share the real news with the world.
In the northwest province of South Africa, I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News, and if it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's going to be, it's up to me. If it is going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to us. Field messages, United Network News. See you next time.
Why would a government try to ban an entire genre of music? It sounds extreme, but history shows rap has faced censorship, crackdowns, and moral panic all over the world. Officials often claim the genre glamorizes drugs, sex, or violence. But if you scratch beneath the surface, it's usually less about protecting young people and more about controlling a form of self-expression that speaks directly to the frustrations of everyday life. Rap has always been raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. And that makes governments uncomfortable. Rap didn't just appear out of nowhere. It grew from centuries of storytelling, from West African griots to jazz poets and spoken word artists in 20th century America. By the early 1970s, those influences collided in the Bronx, where DJ Kool Herc pioneered his breakbeat style at a back-to-school party in 1973. That night is widely considered the birth of hip-hop.
One of the poorest parts of New York, the Bronx, had a lot of problems, including fighting between gangs. People needed an escape, and they found it through music and parties. One of these parties in particular is widely thought to be the start of what we now know as hip-hop. This man, called DJ Kool Herc, was playing at a party in building 1520 Sedgwick Avenue on August 11, 1973. DJs back then used turntables to play music using vinyls, which is like a big CD. DJ Kool Herc was different in that he was one of the first to use two at once and focus on playing the section of songs without words. Having two meant the music and the party never stopped. And this became the basis of hip-hop.
By the 1980s and 90s, the golden age of rap had arrived, with artists using rap not just for its unusual beats or rhythm and rhyme, but as a megaphone for the marginalized, calling out poverty, racism, and political corruption. And that's exactly why governments have tried to silence it. In the United States, rap faced moral panic in the late 1980s when NWA's F the Police drew FBI warnings and concert shutdowns. In France, rappers have been sued and taken to court for lyrics criticizing the police. In Russia, performers like Husky have been arrested after their shows were canceled for promoting immorality. In China, state censors have scrubbed rap videos and banned artists from TV, claiming the music promotes low taste and non-mainstream values. In Turkey and Iran, rappers who criticize the government have been jailed, with some forced into exile for their safety. Even in countries where rap is celebrated and commercially successful, artists can quickly find themselves under scrutiny the moment their lyrics challenge authority. A striking example of this came in Russia in 2019 when authorities tried to silence the rap scene by canceling concerts and detaining performers.
If you can't stop them, lead them. The advice from President Vladimir Putin to his cultural advisors on what to do about rap music, a genre that's grown increasingly popular with young Russians.
The rap and other modern music is based on the three pillars: sex, drugs and protest. Well, the biggest concern amongst all this is drugs. It's an obvious thing. This is a path to the degradation of the nation.
Putin's comments follow a spate of concert cancellations and artist arrests. Last month, Dmitry Kuznetsov, also known as Husky, climbed onto a car and provided an impromptu performance after authorities cancelled one of his shows, alleging his music had elements of extremism. The 25-year-old, known for his lyrics about poverty, corruption and police brutality, was then arrested. And his is not an isolated case. A week later, it was the turn of rapper Gone Flood. Citing pressure from the police, he said he was forced to cancel 2 concerts. The number of similar incidents is rising, and the crackdown seems to extend beyond rap to other popular musical genres. While the government has voiced concerns about offensive lyrics, including references to drugs, some people believe there are other reasons why artists are being targeted.
They sing and rap about things that influence people's thoughts about the government. So Putin's idea shows what authorities are worried about. What if rap musicians speak the truth?
Whatever the reason, Vladimir Putin seems to recognize that in the age of YouTube and the internet, music videos will continue to attract millions of viewers. At the meeting in St. Petersburg, he cautioned his advisors that attempts to ban artists from performing could instead boost their popularity.
Of course, the reasons given for censorship almost always sound protective. Leaders insist they're shielding kids from dangerous influences or defending cultural values. But the truth is, rap speaks directly to young people in ways few other art forms do. It gives them a voice, a rhythm, and a sense of belonging while daring to ask uncomfortable questions. For governments that thrive on tight control, that kind of influence feels threatening. One of the most recent and high-profile cases of rap censorship occurred in the UK in 2025, involving the Irish hip-hop group Kneecap and their controversial views on the war between Israel and Palestine.
The members of the Northern Irish band Kneecap came to Glastonbury with a clear message. Palestinian flags mingle with Irish balaclavas, a reference to the IRA, the pro-independence paramilitary group active in the 70s and 80s. But it's their alleged support for another group, Lebanon's Hezbollah, classified as a terrorist organisation in the UK, that sees singer Mo Chara accused of supporting terrorism. The charge stems from his alleged lifting of the group's flag on stage. Last week, Prime Minister Keir Starmer said it was inappropriate for the band to participate in the festival. People remembered.
Buzzing to see him today, obviously with everything that's been going on as well. I think it's quite important that, it's quite important they do get a big turnout and the freedom of speech and the messages are putting across are heard.
In June, a crowd of supporters attended the London hearing related to the charge of supporting a terrorist group. Mo Chara was later released on bail. Since then, the band's been removed from the lineup of a series of summer concerts, notably in Scotland and Germany. Glastonbury, which has a reputation as a progressive left-leaning festival, resisted pressure to uninvite them. The BBC, which has broadcast the event for almost 30 years, decided not to show their performance live.
At its core, rap has always been about telling stories others don't want told. From the Bronx to Paris, Moscow to Beijing and beyond. It's a reminder that music can be more than entertainment. It can be resistance. And history shows when you try to silence a movement born out of struggle, you usually just end up amplifying it. Rap doesn't die under censorship. It adapts, goes underground, and comes back louder than ever.
The Martinez Center in Denmark is a tranquil seaside retreat, blending relaxation with intellectual exploration. It offers lectures, study groups, and enriching experiences. UNN Field Messenger Ags explores what makes this destination so unique.
Hi, this is Ags, Field Messenger, reporting for United Network News. And I went on a vacation to this place called Martinus Center in Klint, Denmark, Europe. And it was a very nice experience. I met a lot of fellow researchers of the spiritual kind, and we had a lot of social evenings together and great food, and it was right on the ocean, and so kind of like a vacation vibe. And I really enjoyed it, and I got a chance to interview one of the directors from the team of directors of the Martinez Center and the Martinez Institute.
They wanted a place where people could come and have a vacation, like you, but also study spiritual things, study the analysis that Martinez tells us about in his works. It's a completely free world picture. It was important to him that you could come here, listen, talk to each other, practice neighborly love, and enjoy yourself. But no membership, no organization that you are sort of a part of. So right now we are at the end of our summer season, where we have 6 weeks of courses. So in that sense you can study it from the morning at 9:30 until the evening, listen to lectures, go to study groups, symbol explanations and various things. But you could also take a walk, swim in the sea, and just relax. We also have courses the rest of the year, above all in September and May. We also have courses, and then we have some lectures and a cafe. But it's mainly the summer season where we also have courses in English.
And Martinez, he's the guy who wrote all the books?
Exactly. As I said, he is a spiritual writer. He was in a way, an ordinary person. He grew up in poor circumstances, and then he had a very, very profound spiritual experience at the age of 30, which he calls his cosmic birth or initiation, where he had access to a lot of knowledge, which he describes in his works, that process. And then he felt it was his mission, his task, to share this with people who were interested in it. It's like a gift he gave to humanity. He very much stresses logic and love are for him the same thing, but he stresses that the things he tells about, many things about God and love being the keynote of the universe, the meaning of darkness, the meaning of the experiences that we need to go through at a time. He tells about all those things in about 6,000 pages and 100 symbols, and at the same time he stresses that you yourself should read it, compare it with your own experiences, and use it in the way that's best for you.
Thank you a lot for your time, Pernilla, and I wish you all the
Thank you.
the best with your Martinez Center.
Thank you, and enjoy your holiday.
Thank you. Appreciate. And if it's going to be, it's up to me. Take care.
Australian universities are going through a rough patch right now. Widespread layoffs and course cuts are making headlines, and it's a hard reality to face for both staff and students. These changes are shaking up education and careers across the country. So what's driving all this? A mix of reduced government funding, fewer international student enrollments due to strict policies, and growing financial instability. Universities are being forced to make tough choices, cutting costs through layoffs and restructuring programs just to stay afloat. Many universities are also dealing with budget deficits and falling demand for their core courses. The impact has been huge. The National Tertiary Education Union, or NTEU, has acknowledged the large-scale job cuts hitting university workers across Australia. Recent data shows more than 3,500 staff cuts across 18 universities, including significant losses at Australian National University, Western Sydney University, University of Technology Sydney, and others. This list doesn't even cover all the affected institutions, with additional cuts at universities like Macquarie, La Trobe, and Griffith. The NTEU claims this represents 2.5% of jobs in the sector, but at some universities, the cuts are far deeper, reaching more than 10%. At the University of Technology Sydney, a significant chunk of courses have been suspended, sparking backlash from staff and students.
There's concerns this morning over a Sydney University's plan to axe 400 staff and suspend 146 courses. University of Technology Sydney says it needs to chop 10% of its workforce to save $100 million. UTS is suspending 60 design courses, 33 health, 21 in science and courses in business, engineering and IT. Distressed staff say they've been provided bizarre well-being advice by an outside company with tips including brush or floss your teeth every day or even bake a dessert.
The Australian National University, or ANU, is one of the universities feeling the heat, with students and staff pushing back against proposed job cuts that would merge the School of Music, School of Art and Design, and the Center for Heritage and Museum Studies. In August, ANU announced it's dropping forced redundancies to save $100 million, but 140 job cuts are still on the table. Future changes will focus on voluntary separations, hiring freezes, and natural attrition. The university says it has already hit 60% of its savings target, with cuts happening across academics and research. Since the program started, more than 200 staff have left voluntarily, and the workforce has shrunk by about 1,000 since 2024. Staff remain uneasy about job security as restructuring continues.
Oh, hey, hey, job cuts should end today. Hey, hey, job cuts should end today.
Today staff are protesting against ANU job cuts. What we've seen over the last, or basically since the Vice-Chancellor started, is more than 1,000 people go. Now that counts the people that have already gone, voluntary separations, but also the proposed job cuts that are going on at the moment. And it's not just job cuts, we're seeing some really important pieces of ANU proposed to be disestablished.
The effect this is having on students is that ultimately there's less choice in our education and the quality of our education is going down. So for instance, for music students, they won't be able to have one-on-one lessons anymore. Also, the sort of Bachelor of Music is essentially being cut by the university. Ultimately, there's going to be less staff, which means larger classes and less one-on-one teaching time for all students, regardless of your major. I think it's such a disappointment for the wider arts and music scene in Canberra. For instance, I've had messages from ex-heads of school here at the ANU, ARIA award-winning artists who studied at the ANU who said that their careers, the opportunities that they've been able to get would not be able to be achieved had they not had the School of Music, had they not been able to study here. And that's something that for students at the ANU, for students in Canberra, for people wanting to study music, those opportunities won't be there anymore.
To make matters worse, Australian universities are also dealing with research funding setbacks. At least 7 universities have had U.S. funding for joint research paused or canceled. This puts $600 million worth of collaborative projects at risk, piling on more pressure for Australia's already underfunded public universities. Job cuts and course cancellations are creating a challenging environment for universities. For students, this means fewer options and a less varied learning experience, which could affect their future. For staff, it's about taking on more work or dealing with the anxiety of possible job losses. It's a tough situation all around, and it's really starting to weigh on everyone.
Now it's your turn. Join our weekly meetings and become a field messenger. More information is available at our website, unitednetwork.earth. We're UNN, and we're taking back the news.